Okay, today I'm going to show you the basics of Sudoku, and by doing that I'm using an easy level, as you can see up here, and this is on Reader's Digest Games, which is free. Each of these, this is a row, this is a column, and this 9 by 9 little square area with the darker border around it is what they call a house. So each house has to have one of each number from 1 to 9, but no repeats. Each row has to have the same thing, one of each number from 1 to 9 without any repeats in that row. And each column has to have the same thing, numbers 1 to 9 without any repeats. So we can start with the number 1, and when you press on it, it highlights where the ones already are. So we know that this top row has a 1, but we need a 1 somewhere in here. So we can click on this little pencil, which allows us to make a little notation, a little note, a mark. We can mark that number in that spot as a possible spot. Could be there, there, or there. It can't be here because of this one. It can't be here because of this one. So that's it for that house. And this house, because there's already a 1 in there, there's no possibilities for a 1. This house, because this has a 1, these two can't be a 1, but this one, and this one, and this one could be a 1. Down here, this can't be a 1. These can't be a 1. The only place a 1 could be over here is this one. So since it's the only possibility for that, we can turn off the little pencil and put a 1 there. And since we know it can't be a 1 here or here, I'm going to delete those little marks just because it keeps the board clearer. Now down here, 1 could be here, here, either of those two spots. So we can put a mark there and there. Can't be in this house, this square. Can't be here because of that 1, but it could be here or here. Now because 1 has to be somewhere in this house, and this is where eliminating numbers comes in. 1 has to be somewhere in this house. It can't be here, so we know 1 has to be in this column. And it has to be in this one of these bottom squares in this house here. The square or the square. So we know it can't be this one. So we're going to take this one out of there. So we know in this house it has to be on this side. In this house it has to be on this side. In this house it has to be one of these two. And in this house it has to be one of these two. So since it has to be in the middle here, it can't be in the middle here. So we can get rid of that one. We know it has to be there. So it's safe to mark that one as a 1. Now since each row needs a 1, and it can't be in this column, or this row, it has to be this one. So now we've determined that that row's got a 1, that row's got a 1, and that row's got a 1. So we're going to get this one out of here, like I said, to keep the board clear. Now there's two possibilities indicated by this little tube for 1. It could be either this spot or this spot, or this spot and this spot, or this spot. At this point, can't tell which one it's going to be yet. So you know it's one of those. So then you move on to the next number. 2. It could be here or here. It could be here or here, but it can't be here or here because of this. Can't be here because of that. In this house, it could be here, 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 or here, but it can't be here because of this one. It can't be in any of these ones that already has a 2 in the house because you can only use one number one time in each house. So there's a spot for it in this house, but the bottom row has a 2, the middle row has a 2, there's only one spot empty in the top row, so that has to be the 2. So we can put that there as a 2. Now, we also know that this can't be a 2, so we can clean that up. In this line, this row, there's only one number missing, and it happens to be a 1, so we can put a 1 in here. So we know that one can't be a 1, so we know that's not a 1. Okay. The only possibility for a 1 over here is this one, so we're going to make that a 1. Now, this little 0 up here indicates there's no 1s left. So we'll move on to the 2s. We've already checked where they could be. There. And since we haven't narrowed down anything further, we can move on to the 3s. 3 can't be in this, for this top house here, 3 can't be in this row because of here. Can't be in this row because of here, also this one. So the only place a 3 could be is there. So there's a 3 in that house now, there's a 3 in this house now. 3 could be either here or here. So let's go ahead and mark those. You don't have to mark them, but it keeps it a little easier to keep track. In this house, can't be in that row, and it can't be here, and it can't be here. So the only place a 3 can be in this house is here. And in this house here, it can't be that one because of that, or this. So the only place a 3 can be is in this empty spot, which is there. And then this column needs a 3, and it can't be in the top one because of this 3, can't be in the bottom one because of that 3, so it has to be there. So now there's no 3s left either. So we can move on to 4s. Let's get rid of that 3 that's crossed off up here, though. Let's move on to 4s. 4 has to be in one of these 2 spots, and we know it can't be this one because of that 4, so we'll go there. I won't say all the different reasons why it can't because of this, can't because of that. I think by now you've probably got the hang of why it can't be there. So there's only one other spot for a 4. So this side has 4 in this column, a 4 in this column, a 4 in this column. There's a 4 in this column, a 4 in this column, a 4 in this column. This column doesn't have a 4. This house does, this house does, this house doesn't, and the only empty spot that it could possibly be is that one, so that's the 4. And there's no 4s left. Now we move on to 5s. The bottom third of the board has 5s in each spot. The top third of the board has 5s in 2 of the spots. Can't be here, has to be here. This one has to be here. No 5s left. Move on to the 6s. Can't be in this row because of that 6. Can't be here or here. So it has to be here or here. We're not sure which yet, so let's just mark those. And here it has to be either this one or this one. Here it has to be this one or this one. Now here the only place it can be is this one, so we're going to make that one, which eliminates that possibility, which means this one has to be a 6 here. And that leaves, in this one, there's 6 in that row, 6 in that row, has to be in this row. Leaves one empty spot here, which we know is a 7, because it's the only number that's missing from 1 to 9, so we know that's a 7. So the only empty spot down here is also missing a 7, so we know that has to be a 7. And there's a 7 missing from here, and it has to be there. There's a 7 missing from this house, has to be there, and the 7 that's missing from this house has to be there. The 2 that's missing from here, we might as well put that in. Which means the 2 can't be there in this house, which means it has to be here. And the only other place a 2 could be in that house is there. So 6 can't be here, has to be here. There's one more 6 left, and it has to be here. The next number, all these numbers are used. There's none left. So the next number that has some available spots is 8. Can't be there, can't be there, has to be here. There's 2 more 8s to place. Can't be here, has to be here. And that one has to be here. And that leaves just one more that has to be here. And since there's no other numbers that need to be filled except for 9, then you know every empty spot now is a 9. So 9, 9, 9, 9, and 9, and you're done with a 100% score.